Hi, this is Peyton Hatch. Today's video is going to be really basic on LS15 operation, and it's actually just the importing and exporting of a project into an LS15. And so when you're going to start off a project for a level, a lot of the times you will have an initial survey done. Maybe you'll have some fixed points set. So if you have a text file or a CSV file, where you've already ran, say, a total station or a GPS through it, you might have a couple points with northings, eastings, elevations, and some point IDs. And that way you want to import those into your level, so that way they can be used as turn points. So when you or a monument points. So when you run your level, you can select, hey, I'm using level 1, and this is the elevation for it. And if there's any differences, you'll be able to check that difference right there. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. This here is pretty critical though. You see the directory, it says, well, if you have a USB stick, it's going to go to you're going to have a job folder on that USB stick, and that is where you'll put these files. Don't worry about my data. This is my simulator, so I have a different directory just simulating it on my computer. But yeah. All right, so move this out of the way. And let's bring in a job. So if I go to manage jobs, you see here I have two jobs here. It's G4 test default. So if I go here to transfer, I hit import data. It's going to go from my USB stick to the instrument as a single file, continue. You'll see here are all my options. CSV and TXT, they both work. I'll click on the TXT for now, just hit continue. My TXT was called level lines. So level lines.txt. So what it's going to do is going to create a job called level lines. Continue. And my points are going to come in as US foot, start at line 1, point ID, northing, easting, height. So there's your format. Maybe you just want to import some heights for benchmarks for them to go off of. You can set the point ID, because that is how you're going to key in the point. So you can search for the point by point ID. And you can set it to, hey, I only want to bring in the height. And then you can set the rest of these to none. So you see, I'm only going to be bringing in point ID and height. Now for this one, I am bringing in northing, easting, and height. Right there. And I'll press continue. And see, 3 lines were imported. Do I wish to transfer more data? No. So now if I go to manage, if I go to jobs, level lines. I just imported that CSV file or that TXT file. It created a job called level lines, and it made that the active job. If I go to fixed points, those 3 points are going to be there. So there's level 1, level 2, level 3. You see they are fixed points. Back. I do not have any measured data yet. I haven't actually taken any points. So if I go here to level lines, I don't have a line in here yet, and therefore I don't have any points. So I have nothing to view yet. So I'm going to back out. Now, if you do have a job and you want to export out data, a very simple thing to do. Same option, transfer. This time I'm going to hit export. Because I am on a simulator, I'm going to send it to my internal memory because I don't actually have a USB stick plugged in that it will recognize. So I'll go to an internal memory. I'm going to do measure and fixed points, a single job. I'm going to export out that job I just imported. I'll hit continue. It's going to say, hey, you don't have any measurements stored. I'm only going to get out fixed points. So if your guys out in the field go out and run a level and they get this error message, well, that's not good. That means they didn't store any of their measured data. So hopefully you never get this message as you're actually exporting out a level. Continue. You'll see right here, it's going to go to my internal memory. I'll just press continue. And here are my export options: XML, ASCII, DXF, or GSI. GSI gives you 2 formats, 8 and 16. The Leica Infinity software does take the GS16. Well, you can also use the 8, but 16 is great. XML, I love XML files. I'm also a big fan of the text files. So I'm just going to kick out a text file. I'll hit continue. And you can see I get the exact same formatting here. What am I going to export? I'm going to export out the point ID, northing, easting, height. Oh, you can send out the code, info. So I would, if you coded it, code, and you can also do info. Now, When I export this out, there's not going to be any information. So let's hit continue. Transfer of fixed point successfully completed. Do you wish to import exporting money data? No. I'll go over here. Just go what that looks like. Internal memory. Under data, there is that text file that I just exported out. Open this up. Level 1, northing, easting, height. I don't have any more information to send out. But if I had it, if I would have taken measurements, measurements are going to have that data. And I could also change this format to be a CSV if I wanted that easier. I just simply click right here and go, hey, this is a CSV file. Enter. Yes. Open that up. A very simple conversion. There is your points. Level 1, level 2. And if there's any other information, those would have been filled out. All right, next thing I'm going to cover really quickly is the measure button. So this little red button right here is actually located along the side of your LS15 or LS10. It's your trigger button. So as you're looking through the scope, you can just rest your hand on that and take that shot. Yeah, you want to set what this button does. So if I go to settings and work, I always set my F1 to level. My F2 I will set as a screenshot because that's another way of keeping track of like a field book file if you needed to. But this trigger key, this is the most critical one. If you set it to autofocus, distance, and record, so that's an LS15. Autofocus is going to focus the camera, distance will shoot, record will take the shot. So you press this button once, it's going to do all three of these things. The problem I have with doing all three at once is if I'm trying to take field notes and I want to just have a backup, it's going to record it immediately and not give you the preview on the screen of your delta elevations. So I always set my LS15 to autofocus and distance. So then as I take the shot, I click that red button, it'll take the shot, and then the store button will then pop up right here, and I'll have to manually store the thing, therefore moving me to my next turn, my next shot. So that's the best. If you're running an LS10, just set it to distance only because there's no autofocus on that. So LS15's autofocus distance, that is your Huckleberry. So continue. The other thing too is under modes, I like median. That way it takes it 3 times. So as the rod might be going in and out of plumb, you take 3 shots, rocking the rod, you can get the best measurements. If you're doing live cuts and fills, tracking isn't bad. That's for side shots and maybe checking elevations on a concrete pour live. So I really like median, and I'll set that to 3. You can set it to whatever you want, but oh, definitely not that one. Let's back out. Set it to 3 and continue. I'm gonna hit home. Oh, I hope that answers a couple questions. If you have anything else, please let me know in the comments below.